Welcome back to Dinar for Veterans, the channel built for those who served this country and who have been holding on to something bigger than most people around them ever understood. If you are watching this right now, I need you to stop what you are doing, silence the noise around you, and give this your full attention. Because what we are covering today is not recycled content, not speculation dressed up as news, and not another round of empty promises. According to live television coverage and ongoing institutional activity being reported across financial platforms, the Iraqi dinar revaluation has moved into a phase that the dinar community has been anticipating for years. The reported rate being circulated is $4.31 per Iraqi dinar, and the cash-in window is being reported as officially open through authorized channels. For every veteran, every military family member, every service-connected holder who quietly kept their dinar tucked away while the rest of the world moved on, this moment is for you. Let's take this seriously, and let's take it step by step. To understand why this matters so deeply, you have to understand what a currency revaluation actually is. A revaluation, or RV as it is commonly called in the dinar community, is the official upward adjustment of a national currency's value relative to other currencies, most notably the US dollar. This is not something governments do on a whim. Revaluations are the result of years of economic preparation, structural reform, international compliance, and deliberate monetary policy decisions. They happen when a country's economic infrastructure has reached a point where it can sustain a higher currency value without collapsing under its own weight. For Iraq, that groundwork has been visibly laid over the past several years through banking modernization, anti-corruption legislation, oil revenue stabilization, digital payment integration, international debt restructuring, and alignment with global financial compliance frameworks. None of that happened by accident. It was all foundational, and according to current reporting, those foundations are now being activated. The 4.31 cent rate has understandably created a significant stir across every corner of the dinar holding community. For many long-term holders, particularly veterans who came home having seen Iraq firsthand, who understood the country's resource wealth and its post-war potential, this number carries enormous emotional weight. It represents validation. It represents the kind of patience that does not come easy, especially when you have been questioned, doubted, and dismissed for years. For others who may be newer to this space, or who have grown skeptical after years of false starts and misleading narratives, the skepticism is completely understandable. The dinar community has seen more than its share of hype cycles that went nowhere. But what separates this current reporting from previous noise is the nature of the sourcing. This is not coming from anonymous posts or single-source rumors buried in online forums. According to current reporting, this development is being discussed openly on live television platforms and is accompanied by real-time bank activity, internal institutional readiness, and visible coordination at the financial system level. That visibility matters significantly. Now let's talk about what the open cash-in window actually means in practical terms, because this phrase is generating enormous excitement and it deserves a clear and honest explanation. The cash-in window refers to the official period during which holders of Iraqi dinar are authorized to exchange their currency at the newly recognized rate through legitimate, regulated channels. This does not mean that holders should race out the door in a panic and show up at any financial institution demanding an exchange. What it means is that systems are being prepared, processes are being put in place, and banks along with designated exchange institutions are positioning themselves to handle these transactions securely in full compliance with financial regulations and oversight requirements. That structure exists for your protection. Understanding it is the first step toward using it effectively. For veterans especially, discipline is not a foreign concept. You know what it means to follow a protocol under pressure. You know what it means to execute calmly when the stakes are high. Apply that same discipline here. If you are holding Iraqi dinar, the first thing you need to do is secure your currency. Know exactly where it is and ensure it is in a protected location. The second step is verification. Reach out directly to your bank or to an authorized exchange institution and ask specifically about their process, their timeline, and what documentation you will need to have ready. The third step is discipline, the same quality that defined your service. Follow official procedures exclusively. Avoid anyone approaching you with promises of faster private exchanges, back-channel deals, or shortcuts outside of recognized financial systems. Moments of historic financial movement attract both legitimate opportunity and sophisticated exploitation. Staying grounded in official channels is what protects your outcome. Now let's go beyond the mechanics and talk about what this moment actually means for real people, because that is the heart of this story. For many veterans and military families who invested in Iraqi Dinar, this was never purely a financial transaction. It was tied to something more personal. Some of you served in Iraq. You watched that country's economy from the inside. You saw the oil fields, the reconstruction projects, the potential buried beneath years of conflict. You came home and you believed in something that the mainstream financial world largely dismissed. That takes a different kind of courage. And today that belief is being spoken about in a completely different tone than it was even a short time ago. People across the dinar holding community are quietly doing math they have done dozens of times before. Only now it feels different. They are thinking about what it would mean to finally eliminate long-standing debt. They are thinking about education for their children, about supporting aging parents, about starting the business they never had the capital to launch, about giving back to the veteran communities they came from. This is not abstract. This is deeply personal financial potential with real-world consequences for real families. And that is exactly why responsibility must accompany this moment. Sudden financial change, whether anticipated or realized, requires planning. It requires professional guidance from a qualified financial advisor and in many cases a tax professional, because significant currency exchange transactions carry tax implications that need to be understood before money moves. It requires thoughtful decision-making rather than impulsive spending. The veterans and military families who benefit most from a moment like this will be those who approach it with a clear head, a structured plan, and the same measured thinking that carried them through their most challenging assignments. Wealth without wisdom does not last. That is not opinion. That is history. From a broader global perspective, what is happening with the Iraqi dinar is not occurring in isolation. When a national currency undergoes a significant revaluation, the effects ripple outward through international trade agreements, banking systems, oil markets, and geopolitical relationships. Iraq is not a peripheral player on the world stage. It sits at one of the most strategically significant economic crossroads in the Middle East. Its currency valuation has direct implications for oil pricing, regional commerce, international investment, and the broader network of partnerships Iraq has been cultivating with global financial institutions. This is precisely why major banks prepare for these events. This is why institutional analysts are paying attention. And this is why the reporting on this development carries weight beyond the dinar holding community alone. As the cash-in process continues to unfold, financial analysts will be closely monitoring liquidity flow, transaction volume, regulatory response, and market behavior. Additional updates and clarifications from institutions are expected to emerge in the coming days. This is not a story that resolves in a single news cycle. It is an unfolding development. And here at Dinar for Veterans, our commitment is to bring you grounded, structured, trustworthy reporting as each layer of this story becomes clearer. Not hype, not fear, not confusion. Just clear information delivered with the respect you deserve. If you are feeling a complex mix of emotions right now, that is completely normal. Excitement, disbelief, relief, and even a degree of anxiety are all natural responses to a moment this significant. The best thing you can do right now is pause, breathe, and focus entirely on what is within your control. That means gathering accurate information, making sure your documentation is organized, connecting with qualified professionals, and proceeding through official channels at a measured pace. To bring everything together clearly, the Iraqi dinar revaluation is being reported at a rate of 4.31 cents and represents a historic recalibration of Iraq's currency position on the global stage. The cash-in window is being reported as open through authorized financial institutions, meaning the exchange process has entered an active phase. This development is being discussed openly through live media coverage and institutional financial activity, giving it a level of visibility that separates it from past rumors. Holders should move forward calmly, securely, and exclusively through official and regulated channels. And for every veteran and military family member who has carried this investment quietly through years of uncertainty, this moment represents something that goes far beyond a number on an exchange board. For ongoing aggregated updates, community perspectives, and Dinar Guru insights compiled in one accessible location, you can visit dinaropinions.com by searching it directly on Google. That platform brings together current Dinar news and analysis in a way that makes tracking this story significantly easier as new developments continue to emerge. Thank you for being here with us at Dinar for Veterans. If this coverage gave you clarity and value, stay connected, because this story is still unfolding, and we will be right here as it does. Share this with fellow veterans, with military families, with anyone in your circle who has been holding on and needs real information delivered with honesty and respect. You served this country with everything you had. You deserve nothing less than the truth delivered straight. Stay calm, stay prepared, and stay grounded. History is not just something we watch. It is something we navigate together.